tell you um, a little bit about my little sister. When I heard about Lizzie, I was totally fine with it because I really wanted a baby sister so bad.
Yeah. And what did you think when you met her? You excited?
Yeah, I was really excited. I was ready to be her big brother.
Cool.
And yes, I am.
Yes, you are. So I was at Walmart and I got the message from the agency. And the caseworker left a message saying that the biological parents of our boys had another baby, and she wondered if we were interested. And it was obviously a big shock. So I called Brian. He said, "Well, get the details," and we did. It was a Tuesday, and told her, that we would talk about it that night, which we did, all night long. Finally came to the conclusion that we had to. I mean, she was a part of them, and we already loved her, and how could we turn her away? So I called the next day and said yes, and then she said, "Okay, well, we'll get back to you and we'll bring her." A little bit later I get a call. She said, "Well, we'll bring her over tomorrow." So it's exciting, but obviously very scary because I was still kind of spinning. My head was still spinning over the boys because we had just had them since February, and it was now September, and I was going to have a 2.5-week-old baby in the house, and it was scary. But I knew right away that it was the right thing to do. But so we then frantically started preparing, and we had nothing. Fawn was already 12 months when we got him, so we didn't have bottles, we didn't have stuff like that. We had a crib, but he was using it, so. So yeah, we had a lot to do. So then they brought her over. I was hung up at work, but Brian was here to meet her. And I remember when I called to see how it was going, he just kept saying, "She's so beautiful." And he was right. All of her friends came over that night with stuff, friends of friends of friends brought stuff or sent stuff because everybody wanted to help, and it was much needed and greatly appreciated.
Hey, Mommy.
Yes?
Well, I never will forget the date. It was September 9th, 2008. We got the call. Emily got called, and then she called me, and she had considered that this was a possibility that something like this could happen. It had never entered my mind at all.
Fish.
Fish, yes, very good, Lizzie. I know we were getting the carpets cleaned at the store that night because I took my phone charger with me because I had to stay there with him, and my headset, and we talked and talked and talked. Can we? Should we? How would we do this? What are people going to say? Can we afford to do this? We talked until about 3 in the morning, and ultimately the decision was yes, we want her. We knew that it was important for her to be able to know her brothers growing up, and we knew that it was important for her brothers to know her. We knew it would be a hardship and an inconvenience, especially in the early going. We hadn't planned or saved or anything for it. But ultimately it came down to your principles and your values don't exist for your convenience. If you have to do it for your convenience, then they aren't really your principles or your values, and you're not who you claim to be. So we kind of had to, stick by our principles and do what we knew was right. It wasn't so much should we, it was, is there a reason we shouldn't do it? And there's no reason we shouldn't. So 2 days later, we became the proud parents of a newborn.
The adjustment, it was a big adjustment having a baby in the house. She obviously didn't sleep much, as enough exhausted 3 hours at a time. I was still working full-time. He was working full-time. Mm-hmm. And the boys, it was exhausting.
Yeah, and William had just started kindergarten, and it was just we had no idea what we were getting into. We went into as true innocence, totally naive. All of a sudden, there's a newborn baby sleeping in the room. Yeah.
And she kept crying.
Kept crying and wanting stuff.
Wanting food.
Yeah. Plus, we didn't figure that, the adoption story would go on too long. We had been assured at the very beginning by our caseworker, very, very good, experienced caseworker who knew what she was talking about, along with the guardian ad litem at the time, that, this was a slam dunk. It would be no problem. I mean, Lizzie was a biological sibling for the boys, and they all had the same biological mother. I mean, the drug use so rampant and so long, had been going on for so long that it was just a matter of a few months before this case would be over and everything would be official and we'd be back to doing the happily ever after thing. So,
So. But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Some things started to change.
Caseworker left.
And that was just the first of many changes. We had several different caseworkers. We had several different caseworker supervisors. In fact, we had one supervisor who came out to complete the home study stuff that apparently hadn't been done. And she came out on a Friday morning, and then that Friday afternoon she was fired.
Yeah.
So
then another one came back like the next week.
Yeah, we had to do it again, and then they even changed we had like 3 different guardian ad litems.
2 judges.
They even changed the judge in the middle of things. So it got a little bit off track, and so we were thinking, that by the time she left her job in January of '09, that would be just be a little while, and then things started getting a little bit weird.